Welcome to this closing webinar in Annex 84, Demand Management of Buildings in Thermal Networks. Here you can see the agenda for 2.5 hours. We have divided our time in 4 blocks. The first one is the introduction to our seminar and shortly to a helicopter perspective on Annex 84. Then first 45 minutes in block 1, we will talk about societal and technological challenges, and it will be me, followed by Ingo from IEA Intech. We will then have 15-minute breaks, so you have time to stretch your legs, grab an extra coffee, and be prepared for the block number 2, a next 45 minutes where we will talk about the digitalization challenges and case studies, and it will be 2 of the Annex participants, leading subtask C, Hisham from SINTEF, and Chris from Fraunhofer IEA. The last block, it's a half an hour where we hope we will actually switch our roles and you will be very active in asking questions and have an overall discussion about the topic of demand management of buildings in thermal networks. Yes, so if we proceed to the first part on introduction to the seminar and IEA Annex 84. We will start with actually discussing or showing you shortly what was the point of the departure for our annex. And here you can find 4 points. Point number 1 is actually looking in the energy consumption in buildings. You will see that actually heat and cooling, it accounts for more than 50% of building emissions. And 12% actually comes to the global energy use and proceeds CO2 emissions. You can see on the graph to the right is actually space heating, so heating our buildings and heating our domestic water for the hygienic purposes, that it's actually accounting for this significant share. District heating and cooling networks actually I identified as the most sustainable way to heat up this water in a densely populated areas. If you link these densely populated areas to the transition or the urbanization that is happening right now in our globe, you will actually see that there's this close link, because now they expect that the building floor area is doubled by 2070, but also around 60% of our population will live in the cities. So if so many people live in the cities, then actually district heating and cooling networks should be expanded, should be utilized even more than right now. Then the third point was actually that actually I think, that we know it quite well, that buildings have and will have even stronger or even bigger role in the transition of our society towards the fossil-free society. So application of more renewables that will have intermediate characteristics, and that's why the system will need more flexibility. It will need to be more flexible, and buildings and their thermal or their storage capabilities can offer this flexibility. Of course, we are not talking about the long-term flexibility. We are talking about the short-term, few hours, maximum, maybe a day or 2. But this is something what is actually needed in our system together with this long-term storage facilities. And then the final point was actually the customers' engagement and users. So all these transitions that will happen in our society cannot be only driven by technology. We need to also engage the people that will actually actively change or allow buildings or allow their energy consumption, because at the end of the day, it's their routines and their practices that shape the energy profiles in the buildings and then in the system. They have to be part of this transition. Otherwise, we will not proceed and we will not successfully reach our goals either in EU or in other parts of the world that is actually having the same challenging objectives. All of it shaped us to the goal of the Annex, where we want to develop comprehensive knowledge and guidelines for successful activation of the demand response, demand-side management in district heating and cooling systems. We explored both the social and the technical challenges, but also the possibilities that will arise from digitalization. So all this change of our meters, new sensors, new infrastructure on the primary side, we want to see how this can help to foster demand response utilization. The specific objectives were divided into social parts, so the knowledge about the partners and actors involved in the energy chain and collaboration models, because as we said, we need to have people, and we have people at the demand side, users, but we also have people operating those systems, so how they should collaborate. We were looking on the technology side, so to classify, evaluate, and provide design solutions in existing buildings on how the installations should be changed, should be upgraded to be able to actually respond to signals or be able to for the users to change the energy load profile according to the needs of the system. We were also looking, so this is the hardware. The third point, the objective was the software, so actually classifying methods and tools to utilize the data from the energy, but also maybe IEQ monitoring system, what tools we can use to model, to simulate, to help predict, for example, flexibility potential in the system. The last but not the least that actually also feeded information to the other objectives is the case studies that we collected, almost 30 case studies of demand response, demand side management in existing systems. So this is what we are very proud of, and you will hear more about it in the coming presentations. This is the structure of the Annex. So these 4 specific objectives were translated into 4 subtasks. So who, collaboration models, technology at the building level, so hardware, so building level. So this is also very important to specify. We know, of course, we are part of the energy system, but we narrow down our scope to only what is needed at the building. We believe that there is another group of projects and annexes that is working on the primary side. We have focused on the demand side, the building. Subtask C, software, methods and tools. And then the final one, the case studies. And here we tried, of course, to focus very much on this type A, so existing buildings and networks. But we acknowledge that actually other types of case studies also exist, and we also wanted to learn from them. That's why we divided them into 4 different groups corresponding to the different TRLs that I hope many of you are familiarized with. A little bit of the numbers. So this was the time frame for our Annex. It was from June 2020 until June 2025. So you are see we are actually hoping to close the Annex in the upcoming EXCO meeting. We had 12 countries participating in the Annex. Among them, well represented Europe, but we also had participants from Singapore that delivered the expertise on the district cooling networks. That is actually something that we have, of course, in Europe, but not in the extent or that they have it in Singapore and in a cooling-dominated climates. We had almost 20 institutions, and here during the Annex lifetime, if you have worked in the Annex, you will see that this is more this time where people come, people go. So all in all, when I looked, we had, I think, 19 institutions that participated for the whole Annex lifetime, but there were more coming in, coming out in this 5 years of our work. We had 48 participants, and we had 10 meetings, 2 meetings a year, where we primarily had a hybrid mode, people participating on-site and online. Actually, I think we managed primarily to meet in Europe with colleagues from Singapore participating online. This is the deliverables. That is the fundament for today's presentations. So 4 objectives, 4 subtasks, 4 deliverables, with the 5th one that is project summary. And they are the core and the source of information for today's presentation. They are currently under review by the EXCO members, and we hope before summer we will be able to upload them on Annex webpage and this will be also together with this video, so it will be available for